Welcome to our kitchen. Today we prepare pork collar from Vinidarius Excerpta, a collection of recipes written in the early Middle Ages. We start with ingredients. We need pork collar, olive oil, eggs, onions, garum, resin wine, dill seeds, and aromatic herbs, mint, savory, pennyroyal, and fennel. We simmer the pork collar with salt and dill seeds. We cooked it for about 2 hours, but the cooking time depends on the size and your personal preference. The name of this recipe is Porcellus timosparsus, pork scattered with thyme, but we replace the thyme with savory. The flavor is not exactly the same, but quite similar. The recipe is meant for the whole suckling pig, boiled and served with seasoning and eggs. But you can use just a piece of meat from pork or suckling pig, remembering that this dish is better if prepared with a cut of meat with a good fat content, such as collar. Meanwhile, we mince the herbs and onion and mix garum, olive oil and resin wine. The recipe for a whole suckling pig calls for 270 ml of garum and 330 grams of oil and resin wine. Adapt the quantities to the piece of meat you are cooking and the proportions of the ingredients according to your taste. The herbs mentioned in the recipe are only thyme and pennyroyal, in addition to condimenta viridia, which means green condiments and refers to aromatic herbs, without specifying which ones to use. Oregano, cilantro, dill, marjoram, rue, and mint are among the herbs Vinidarius uses in his recipes, so you can choose the ones you prefer. Pennyroyal can be easily substituted with mint without a substantial change in the result. If you don't have a resin wine, you can use a sweet wine, some raisins, a little honey, or even mead, called aqua mulsa in Latin. As always, garum can be substituted with a Southeast Asian fish sauce, muria, colatura di alici, or just salt. Links for making garum and muria are in the description below. Apici excerpta a Vinidario viri illustri, which means excerpts from Apicius by Vinidarius, an illustrious man, is an amazing collection of 301 recipes that imitates the style and methods of the recipes conventionally attributed to Apicius, and is found in one of the manuscripts of the Re Cucinaria. The use of the ingredients and the language reveal that this text was written later than the Re Cucinaria. For example, we find ingredients that are very rare or absent in ancient cooking, such as cloves, cardamom, saffron, and rice starch. The recipe we present today, for example, is very similar to many medieval preparations, despite sharing ingredients such as garum and resin wine with ancient Roman recipes. The importance of Vinidarius Excerpta, beyond the obvious culinary interest, lies in the fact that it shows the continuity of ancient Roman traditions in the early Middle Ages, and together with Antimus, the Observatione Ciborum, is one of the few written records in the Latin language of the culinary uses of this period. The full translation of Vinidarius Excerpta is available on our Patreon page. Our edition of Antimus de Observatione Ciborum, a fundamental text for the transition between ancient and late medieval cuisine, is available on Amazon, complete with an introduction and a glossary of Antimus' peculiar Latin. If you're interested in ancient food, read our book Ancient Roman Cooking, with recipes selected from various ancient sources, and a wide introduction to ingredients, meals, agriculture, and farming in the antiquity. A list of our books on historical food is available in the description below. along with the links to buy us a beer and purchase our merchandise. We slice the pork collar and serve it with hard-boiled eggs, dressed with the aromatic herbs, the minced onion, and the sauce. This dish was incredible. The delicious mixture of aromatic herbs and raw onions was more reminiscent of a late medieval dish than a recipe from the Greco Culinaria, but with the typical balance and Mediterranean taste that characterize ancient Roman cooking. The absence of strong spices and the use of only dill give a very peculiar taste to a dish that is worthy of being the main course, not only of an early medieval banquet, but also of a dinner for a special occasion. If you're interested in ancient foods and flavors, subscribe our channel and consider supporting us on Patreon.